Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Pernigo bringing you another Cause Monarchy cast. We've got quite a bit to talk about in this particular cast because, as you can see, we have an array of 3 players who are going to be gaming against an array of AI, CPU, computer-controlled players all along the waterfall. It's going to be a very interesting time, I think. So as we pan over the battleground that we will be seeing here, let me introduce you to the human players first, who will, of course, be ones to watch out for, and ones we might not be able to spot in all of the other cases. We've got Midori as the Green Terran. I don't think we've casted Midori before, but he does participate in some of the more casual versus AI games, and that's always cool to see. We have the Cyan... No, is that Cyan? I don't think that's Cyan. That's Glacial, right? Anyway, SmrtyCakes, he's the Glacial Protest. Ah, it was Alice. Fuck you, SmrtyCakes. We got Slav, the Blue Zerg. Blue looks really nice in Cause Monarchy. It was modified by DF to be a little bit better. And Slav knows what's up. He went 6-pool, it looks like, and he's going to be attempting to catch the average Zerg enjoyer down here out by attacking his Hatrosk. Oh no, he's going to bypass it completely because look! The Zethra cores are coming. The new Zethra core model, provided by Balethal. Very epic. Yeah, Midori says that's got a new model. What? The workers aren't going to be pulled for this because AI is not quite that advanced, but yeah, they are in trouble, and hopefully they get some support from their teammates. I was about to say that this is kind of one of those cases where if you really know what you're doing against the AI, you will try to rush them down. We've seen examples of the AI getting crazy greedy and then going crazy into, you know, hella units, you know, just crazy amounts of units. And while average Zergandor is trying to get some reinforcements in from the other base, he's lost a lot of workers. I don't think this AI is going to be getting off the ground very much because of a reasonable bank. He just needs to actually be able to get out of here. And, you know, he's got some more units coming down, but his teammates are actually not really helping him out to the dedicated degree that they probably ought to be here. Finally, it looks like Slav's units will be cleared by a pair of average Zerg Enjoyer's own units, as well as Jabodong Zeth. We love that. We love that. We haven't even introduced those other players. But yeah, Jabodong is in the bottom right, is sending off what looks to be the start of an attack, as SmrtyCakes going Lattice first is going to have to go up against that, it looks like. But there's more where that came from Slav, so we might end up seeing a different sort of pivot here. I don't even begin to guess what the color is either of average Zerg Enjoyer, by the way. I like that he's sort of using his workers to micro. Sort of. I don't actually know about this one. We got a couple of bits and bobs here from some of the other Zerg and Terran players here. But I'm really trying to guess this guy's color, you guys. I think that's more important. Is this beige? Peach. Okay, well, that's a little bit of an interesting one. I guess that means this is beige. But it was Beaver. Jabodong is Beaver. Who would have guessed, honestly? Zeth and Hydra is from alternate commander, the Red Zerg in the 9 o'clock position, who's actually starting to take over the map, took the expansion of Wifebeater 2.0, and that's a reference to the fashion statement, by the way, not advice. Don't do that. But took the fashion industry's natural expansion, and then also is taking the 12 o'clock base. This is really wacky. This is going to be interesting to see how that ends up going. Obviously, we're on bigger game hunters, aka BGH. It's just BGH for Cause Monarchy, that's all it is. Ken only did it, so you can thank or blame him. And we will have some sort of static defense being set up here by SmrtyCakes. A wise choice, considering there's a horde of Mavericks, some Harakans and Vultures, as well as some of Jabodong's own Quas. The Samaranth, with his sexy new model from Balethal as well, has been eventually deleted and defeated. But it does look like they are going to crash upon the shores here and not actually be able to focus down much of anything. Midori's Blackjacks are in support, and the sim count is also another good choice versus AI games, actually. In AI games, it's good to go Simulacrum. They're not always able to focus down that fire when they need to. One Cyclops is here backed up by some Blackjacks. It's going to splash down a lot of damage, but again, that can sometimes cause problems for the player against the sim. Still, everything except for the Goliath starting to go down, and the new Atreus has arrived. This is definitely going to help riposte this assault. These units have been... a lot of people have been saying a lot of things about the new Atreus, I'll say that much, and so I hope people enjoy it. They have the Gladius passive that causes things to bounce between them, same as the Asciliant as well, but a little bit more doable in that way. So obviously alternate commander out here trying to get his expansion up. We have some heckling done to Slavs by one Claus. I don't know what's going on there. And yeah, some more units are going to be streaming on in with the attempt of actually trying to, you know, kill the enemy off here a little bit, you know, at least defend this hatch. But it is going to go down. The players will be, I think, triumphing here at the 12 o'clock location. They're being forced back a little bit. I don't think Smarty doesn't want to lose his Atreus before he can get up to a critical mass, it looks like. We should probably pan over the Terran bases here and introduce them a little bit more. We do have the Cyan down here in 6 o'clock. Indeed, that is Crows from Kenya. So that's an air build. He's going to suddenly switch into air. He's already got tier 2 up. So that's going to be pretty scary. We do have another attack force coming in, but I don't see a lot of fallen Atreus. Yeah. Since he'll send Shaman, that's going to be helpful in the team games. You do heal your allies, of course. I think medics in StarCraft 1 healed allies, but for sure clerics do and shamans do as well in Cosmonarchy. It looks like Wife Beater's out here building Fulcrum with Talos, very cute, and has a couple of sort of mixed bits and bobs, but it does not... Oh yeah, this is the classic move where it doesn't look like it can only set up a town center marker here, so the AI always expands to the bottom right. That was even true in StarCraft 1, so it's nice to see that carried over here. We still don't have an expansion for Midori or Smarty, in fact, or Slav, but I mean, this is a map where you don't really need to go for expansions if you really think about it, you know? It's BGH, you can stay on one base for a while, that's kind of the point. If we look at the worker count here, we're starting to see some of the AI stretch ahead. Smarty on 26 workers, Slav on the most for the human team, but Jabo Dog actually taking the lead on the worker count by a considerable margin, up by 7 over his second closest, which is alternate commander and Crows from Kenya. This attack wave does not seem like it's going to be particularly significant. We do have the Hydras out here with the new model. Very nice. We saw that briefly in the earlier stages of the game. It looks like average Zergajora was even trying to go for the expansion inside Midori/Smarty's natural. So that's pretty cute. There is an Obeleth out here. Presumably there might have been some cloak targets. I'm not entirely sure. But maybe he's just there to make sure that nothing bad happens. Down goes the Matador. One Shaman to heal. That is going to be pretty impossible to break, I feel like. That's just a lot of beef. That's just a lot of beef plus it's healing. The Hydra is starting to mass up. Maybe we can see Slav take an Expo if he wants to. He's going to be under fire from a pretty big joint attack between Crows from Kenya and this looks like Jabo Dawn, yeah. So it looks like maybe some of Crows from Kenya's units are going to be busy trying to run around and give a little bit of a move there. That's actually pretty good. But at the same time, Slav is making way for some of these units to start really helping out. Shaman deploys to provide detection for that. Lake is going up in smoke, and we have more where that came from. But the big attack is hitting Slav now, and he's only got the one circuit and a couple Zoryus here. A Wraith also attacking his workers, and NCL providing overhead cover as well, so there's no burrow. That can be done. Tier 2 finishes for average Zerganjor, but the 12 o'clock has finally fallen. I thought that was going to happen a long time ago. The Wraith should be picked off by these Hydras, but they need to help Slav out. I don't think he can handle all of this pressure, even though that circuit has been doing, like, what, probably a 500 damage? Yeah, I was going to say 1,000, but whatever. I was only off by a little bit. And now the Atreus is scrambling into an assistant. You can see them trying to, kite backwards, but against Backles on one side and Atreus on the other, you're in Bound City, buddy. Even still, this is going to be a grab bag where every player on the map, every AI player on the map is going to be trying to take 12 o'clock because it's the only available expansion. And Cosmonarchy AI is very expansion hungry. They really like to expand as often as possible. Gonna need more gas, says Midori. Well, he's capping the sieve, but he's not mining from the geyser, so that's really fucking hilarious, honestly. Yeah, gonna need more gas. Okay. It's one of the funnier moments of the recent casts, I feel like, although I guess everybody thought the last cast was really funny. So I hope Rap and Roll did too, that's all I can say. Those Matadors are getting a little bit heckled, pounded by the Cyclops since they're in deployed mode. But the Atreus count is enormous, right? He's at 17 Atreus, he's got a whole buttload of Sims as well in there. So is there going to be something that can actually deal with this? I would say 23 Lakes might be able to. Where's that detection? The Shaman is gone, so they actually will not have the ability to see them once they actually burrow, and that is going to be a huge set of splash damage dealt by Jabo Dong with his horde of Lakes. He did lose a number of them, but now I think it's the first real loss Smarty has had in the game. It looks like he lost all of 4 Atreus after some reinforcements come through. A lot of Sims went down, but that's kind of their job. We'll see more and more of them take some damage. The Cyclops also helping out. Tier 2 infantry from Crows from Kenya starting to come in. As soon as we can, we'll take another look at the the tech, but we do have the Phalanx coming. they're going to really help out once they get deployed. Yeah, there's going to be a massacre here in a moment. A couple of shells. Well, if only they would, burrow more preemptively and proactively, it would actually test the skill of the players a little bit more. I think this phalanx pump would just get annihilated. Zet's coming in to help make that true no matter what. You can see the Atreus is from Smarty. He's desperately trying to micro around to make sure that he steps on top of them. But we are starting to see the players get pushed back. Now, admittedly, there hasn't been the same economic development. The worker count's still very low for all of the AIs. They are kind of hard capped at a certain level of income on one base, and VGH doesn't have anything that can... There's nothing in the game that can say, hey, don't do that. Uncap the AI bases in this time. So maybe that's something I should add. SmrtyCakes requests Shaman. He's getting pushed in by the Lakers, and Slav, and now under attack, he's trying to make a bunch of Ultra Cores, it looks like, and hopefully that will be enough to give him a little bit more of a look in. We've got Wraiths, Heracles, etc., including Madcaps, starting to mass up for another attack wave here as well. But it does look like Jabodong and Crows from Kenya will be held at an arm's space. No, it's actually, it's Average Zergenjoyer and Jabodong's down here, okay. But we have a couple other units coming in. The worker count over here getting massacred. Slav does have the most workers of the whole map, so I'm not too worried in that sense. But look at this, alternate commander retaking 12 o'clock. Ooh, boy, the pressure is on. It's starting to grow pretty massively. Let's take a look at the tech, and hopefully we can, I'm panning over here. Slav's in trouble, but I think he'll be able to defend. He has been broken at the natural. So I do feel bad for looking away, but just briefly, quickly looking at the tech, we got Zorka Shroud, a whole horde of static defense being set up over there as well, and as well as down here in the bottom right, you can see it. But we have Kafirlosk Tier 2 here as well. Not a lot of mining going on for this guy. I don't know where all his workers went. He lost them in a bad bet, but Jabodong is actually making a round of workers now, so he must have just had to make a lot of structures real quick. Probably all that static defense he was trying to make. Huge morass of units from the Terran player, Crows from Kenya, as well as a couple of the Zergs. Yeah, Slav's actually kind of being BTFO'd, really backed into a corner, making more Ultra Cores, making more Hydras. I'm really surprised his Ultra Cores ended up dying there. And we have a bunch of other units over here too. It's pretty scary. At the very least, ooh, the Potente goes down. We will have the Shaman and the Phalanx with the Atreus is trying to hold them back. The players are in a really rough spot, but there's a bit of a vortex from Decollision over here. Maybe Slav can use that to his advantage. He's got a Khazitras, but he never made a Zorka Shroud, and he is all on his lonesome. Man, this Decollision's really helping him out. Huge assistance there where a lot of those units aren't able to fire. But they will start to be a little bit more deadly once more of the units get cleaned up. It's a absolute chokehold slaughter over here. Good grief. And they just keep going. You can see them desperately trying to break through. It looks like maybe the lake is unburrowed and that set off a cascade, but still able to break him down. The Olborg was finished. Of course, he had access to Lake's tech. I would say he didn't build the Zerka Shroud. He's making fucking Ultra Cores. I'm just lost in the sauce, guys. It's a chaotic VGH game. AI just sending in more units. Salamanders have arrived from Whitebeater. Now, that's going to split a lot of Sims, but he's also, helping out a little bit by distracting. Another one arriving. Yeah, the Sims trying to split themselves, but the Star Sovereign has arrived, and it has the Mind Tyrant to back it up. Malefactor Sovereign. Dude, no way. Yeah, Slav is going to need some backup. He's got a Lake is attacking his backline there. Maybe we'll endanger his worker count in the main base. Zorius pushing in. We've got huge hordes of more units. The glassing goes off. Ladies and gentlemen, SmrtyCakes is at it again. You see SmrtyCakes in a game, you know he's going to try to go for the Star Sovereign, apparently. There's a Valkyrie, though, the arch nemesis, and the Gorgon's keeping it grounded, so it needs to defend itself by shooting its way out of the situation, and I don't think it's quite going to. We even have Calculusks being mutated on top of it like little parasites on the side of a crustacean. There's no hope for Slav, it looks like. Another round of units is going to be earmarked into his location. The Whitebeater 2.0 Phalanx and 17 frags is crazy, and we have a bunch of more units pushing in as well. A Nidus from downtown being made. Don't ask me about that, Shadow. And it does look like the Sovereign's being pushed back. One of them already went down. Another being pushed away. Flan Hell. I don't know what that means. Slav's situation is fucked. Well, I'm glad he's reporting about it. If we look around over here, dead, he says. Yeah, there's tier 2, starport stuff or whatever. But yeah, wow, the player's going to throw out the GG, saying that they can't come back from this situation. I will point out they really didn't scale up their economy too much, with the exception of Slav, who did have almost 80 workers at one point. But Midori obviously not. And yeah, the lake is starting to borrow and maybe depower those crucibles. The Atreus fam was entertaining. But 3v5 is a hard ask, especially on a map like this. You can see Slav pushing the forces back. Maybe there's a glimmer of hope where they can, you know, fake GG the AI. But we've got Oxal Calculusks being made. You know, that means that they're skipping the intermediate step of the Nathacore sometimes. Anseal's hovering overhead as well. Oh, these are Smarties, actually. And another Star Sovereign does indeed arrive. He's going to need to start heckling them, though, and the Heracles has already tagged it with some slow. He's trying to desperately move it off to the side, but there's actually nothing attacking Midori right now. He's just kind of maybe taking the foot off the gas. Desperately morphing more backfills. They are going to start to finish. Maybe he can drive them back. Slav, really a miraculous set of holds. You know, he's got lucky with that decollision, you can say, but he's really put in a hard effort. Sovereign off to the side is being tailed by a witness. Maybe if that Sovereign Mind Tyrant comp had come online a little bit sooner, it could have helped, but I'm waiting for the offensive Nidus. It hasn't happened yet, I don't think, but the AI will do that to you, if you're not careful. You can see them trying to path through all of the different Niduses that they have. It's not very sensible, is it? I see, says Midori. When you don't, there's a Sundog there. Also, there is, in fact, an Apostle from Crows and Konya. Smarty's gonna get eaten up. He's down to just having his Star Sovereign in the side. And yeah, it's not looking too hot, boys. I think we're about ready to call this game. He's gonna come in. Maybe he'll try to glass his ally, you know, just for fun. Well, he's actually waypointing in over here. Yeah, he wants to do the glassing. But yeah, he knows what's happening here. Nice, says Slav. It goes down. He does actually nuke a lot of the units, thankfully. And then it goes down and he dies anyway. XDDDD. And ladies and gentlemen, humanity has fallen. Smarty has to go soon. He wants to play more games. They called the GG from that. And that was a beautiful game of Cos Monarchy featuring our souped-up computers. I do have a lot of desire to improve them and make them do even better than they're doing in some of these games. To be fair, I want 3v5 to feel like a real effort, something that takes a lot of time to be able to do and a lot of effort to do. Slav had the right idea by trying to rush him down, but actually, average Zergendrawer, he worked out pretty well at the end there. It felt like maybe he was one of the stronger players. Obviously, the Zergai doing that weird static defense, like sunken defense idea or whatever, where they're just spamming tower defense. I don't know what's going on with that. I do have to figure that out separately. That doesn't seem like a bug that is easy to track down as it has been with us for some time. But I hope you enjoyed this Cos Monarchy cast. We will be back with more of it very soon. So GG.